Okay,
I paid like $10 for this game.
I have gone to live, and
All
I'm
right.
just going to set
Upset
out
about
a
bots and
little.
competitors clicking on your ad. Why me?
What do you call it?
So do
Well,
you see my
it's not only you.
do you see my audio
Recent
like
studies
capture
show
on
that
there?
1 out of every 4
I
clicks
did
is
see it.
fraudulent.
Yeah, it should be working.
But there's a way to.
Perfect. All right, man. So let me know when you got your game up. I can like select watch. All right.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump on Facebook and just let the people know that I'm here.
Facebook or what?
Yeah, just to let them know.
Do you want me to pull up a game?
No.
You see my audio like capture? Facebook. Oh my god. If you're not Instagramming, you're obviously old. Select watch.
Okay.
I can play another LucasArts classic, Full Throttle.
Oh, do you have So can you go to my YouTube and pull up the chat so you can let us know if anybody's talking to us?
Sure, I'll pull it up right now.
Thanks. Thank God for you, sir.
Yeesh.
Yeesh. And
Yeesh, indeed.
oh, but I need to stream the video to you, don't I? On Discord.
I can select your video to find it.
Oh, you can? Or
Yeah,
just you're just gonna watch YouTube?
No, I mean I'm gonna pull it up on. I can pull it up on Steam. I can watch your video.
Oh, cool.
It's gonna have the same delay that YouTube has.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, you might just do the. Yeah, whatever works. You're the man with the plan. If anybody's watching us, hello.
Hey, we have 4 online right now, so
Oh, yes.
I want to say hello to everyone here and hope you're having a good night.
Hope
I
you're
know
in the
that
Indiana Jones
California
mood.
times. Yeah.
Yeah,
California time's a little bit different, so.
Yeah, my friend Michael here is up pretty late over in Ohio.
Yep, that's alright.
Wow, someone already died in the first room.
Already?
Yeah. Whoa.
Wow.
It's probably like a
Devouring.
what do you call it? Like they use a special whip that they only have 1 life.
Yeah,
What's this?
Parker Cohen says it's 110. This better be important. Do you have any important announcements to make for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, we're gonna be revealing the official title and poster for Indy 4.5 probably on Monday.
All right, that's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great announcement. I can't wait.
Yeah,
so
I'm not familiar with a lot of these traps. Oh, what?
I know you've been pretty dedicated to the 4.5 remake of Indiana Jones. Are you looking at changing a lot of the story, or are you going to be doing a lot of like remaking a lot of the scenes?
I am doing both. The story is going to be significantly altered, and the what do you call it? And I'm changing a lot of the shots.
Changing a lot of shots. Yeah. So I noticed with like the King and the Crystal Skull. I mean, it kind of started off very weak. It had a lot of it had a lot of pandering, I guess, in the opening scenes when they had like the refrigerator, obviously, and the nuclear test. That was that was really bad. Are you going to be doing any modifications for that?
So that the entire nuclear test scene is not going to be in the movie, like at all.
That's a pretty good remake, because I was not very approving of that scene. That was kind of an insult, I guess.
I do like the shot of Indy like looking at the nuclear explosion. I just think it's a really cool shot. I might have just that shot used in a unique way, but it's not going to have anything to do with the story. It's just going to be a little something something.
So Parker Cohen says he's going to make it like a special edition of Star Wars. I think with your remake that you're doing, it's kind of like the Ivan Ortega recut of Episode 8,
Yeah,
where
yeah, Ivan
he
Ortega is
fixed a.
definitely a big like influence of mine. That's for sure. Loved his
I mean,
work.
he did a lot of the reshoot for it, and like the big scene that I think that he changed with Episode 8 that made it more significant was when Luke handed the lightsaber back to
Oh,
Rey,
thank
as
God.
opposed to just
Yeah.
tossing over his shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of really put the importance of like, this is a very significant weapon back into the.
That's right, man. And
So
I should also say that this re-edit that I'm doing, it's more than even that, because it's gonna be there's gonna be some really major changes, and no one has ever really done a fan edit in this way before.
I say with that, I mean, Episode 4. I mean, there's a lot of ground that you can kind of recover there because the characters are not that bad, and the scene, like the action scenes themselves, are pretty significant, but just the story itself was really weak, and like I don't even think the alien like plot device was a very bad idea. I just think that it wasn't executed well at all. So
Yeah.
I mean, you could really change the way that was, that way that was embraced. Like, oh, it's not just an alien device; it's actually crucial to the alien architecture. It was crucial to like it was crucial to the early tribes as far as like their development. So.
Man, there are some very different traps and gameplay elements in this.
So I know that's why I was gonna say Phantom Abyss changed quite a bit, is what the person told me. They said there was a lot of new like new traps, and there was new like gameplay like changes that made it a lot, I guess, a lot better, but still not as boring as what it was.
Wow, they have something called Whip Again that you can whip again in the air. That's pretty cool. But I'm gonna go with Lucky Landing. Yeah, this is probably the most significant changes in this update that I've seen.
I say the original Phantom Abyss had it was just like saw blade traps and like blow dart traps. That was about it, and then the monster or whatever the boss was in charge of it.
Guardian.
But I'm really hoping they turn Phantom Abyss into something that's really unique.
Yeah, I had high hopes for this game. They're slowly getting there.
Yeah. I mean, Devolver Studios, they're pretty good. They had some previous work that was really good, and I'm hoping Phantom Abyss is just kind of like in the alpha prototype. They're learning a lot from it.
Yeah.
I think what would really improve it if they actually had a like multiplayer mode where you can play with your friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, it's not. I mean, ideally, they're not going to do anything different as far as like gameplay, because you have your friends and stuff like that. But just having your friends like yelling and screaming is like the monsters chasing them.
You know what?
Improve it a whole lot.
One thing that I've noticed is that if somebody dies by a trap, like even like the spike traps that come out of the floor, then that trap is like no longer there for other players.
Oh, it's fancy.
Yeah.
So which whip are you using?
I'm using the no fall damage whip.
Oh, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Have you saved a lot of your whips?
I mean, I have them all. What do you mean?
Well, I didn't know how many of the whips that you've unlocked you've permanently saved or not.
I have all of them like available because I haven't played in a while, but I have a few of them that are blessed. Like this one with fall damage is like my main go-to whip.
Okay. I
think the Guardian Devouring Rage that chases you is, for me, probably the easiest because you have so much more control. Like, because it's basically just following you. So once you understand, like, you basically have control of where it goes, and you just gotta, not panic. You can pretty much get out of any situation.
Well,
Even if there's just like a little
Hitchhiker's Guide to the
space.
Galaxy. Just
Yeah,
don't panic and you're fine.
that's right. And 42.
That's right. The answer to everything, the universe and everything.
But now that I said that, I'm sure I'm gonna make a fool of myself and die somewhere here.
I say don't lose your whip, man.
Let's see. Oh, nice. Alright. And no fall damage. Thank you.
Like, I really think Phantom Abyss needs more traps that are, like, intellectual rather than just, like, react.
Yeah, like more sort of puzzle solving type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, just, like, the ones that we have on all just, like, reflexes and stuff like that. It's nothing that's...
So what would be an
trying to
example of a good one?
Well,
like intellectual?
Well, something like, alright, you have to, like, read the ruins on the wall and you have to, like, look at it. It's like, you have to, like, there's 4 symbols to push, but the symbols are, like, reverse order because of the way that they're organized or something like that. Just more like text-based puzzles, not just like, oh, you gotta hit, like, watch out for the spike trap because it's gonna get you if you don't react properly.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'd love to see some stuff like that in this game.
Yeah, I obviously it'd be hard to implement just because the bosses are chasing you around and stuff like that. You don't really have an opportunity to explore, but the temples themselves feel really empty. Like there's not a lot of, like I'm not really interested in seeing, everything the temple has to share with you.
Now I just got an upgrade called Soul Armor, and it's like you choose when to use it. So you press F, and then you become invulnerable for a short time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so they've added a lot of cool little things. Hey, how was your experience overall with Fate of Atlantis?
Oh my gosh. So Fate of Atlantis, I mean that was like a knockdown drag out fight. It just it felt like a slog through. And it wasn't that I didn't understand Fate of Atlantis. Like I knew like what the puzzles had to be solved by, but there was just some puzzles that were so convoluted where you're just like like the one where I had to turn everything 90 degrees and it wasn't explained in the game.
Oh man, yeah.
That was like the World Stone puzzle that was and I have to tell you, I was playing Full Throttle Remastered and I noticed that in like credits and stuff like that, they had Hal Barwood. He was one of the writers for Full Throttle.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's awesome.
And I mean, because it was a LucasArts game, but there's like a lot of references to like Star Wars and things like that in there. But it was pretty funny because I was like, after playing Fate of Atlantis, I was like, oh my god, I hate this guy. Playing Full Throttle is like a nice, like, okay, I understand what he's trying to go for.
Man, now it has me picking up crystals and stuff. I've never had something like that before.
So I want to ask, did you ever research what happened with after Fate of Atlantis, where they said that they were going to come back with maybe a younger Indiana Jones?
Well, they had a few. They had 2 games that they were trying to make at one point. One was Spear of Destiny, and one was Iron Phoenix. And neither of them worked out, but they were both turned into Indiana Jones comic books.
Oh, interesting.
Which were like 2 of my favorites.
Well, I was just wondering because if they're going to make a young Indiana Jones game or anything like that, because I mean, obviously, like the old, like the '90s were like the heyday of all adventure games and stuff like that. And adventure games are not really difficult to program technically because they had a lot of static images, like they had backgrounds where the character would move on and stuff like that. And just the puzzle elements would add the artificial time limit to the game, so it actually would extend the game. So that's why they were really popular in the 90s, because like they didn't cost a whole lot to make. Like they weren't, you didn't have to do a lot of programming like some of the other games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because when your character was just like, oh, here's a background, and your character moved across the background, didn't do any changes to the background, it was a lot easier to program than something like a third person, like a first person shooter or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. There actually, you know what? There is a fan in Spain who is making an Indiana Jones point and click fan game of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel, Stock de Ferry. He's kind of like the Spanish version of me, and he played it on his YouTube thing.
Is he? Is he number one in Czech Republic?
No, he's number one in Spain.
Well, that's good. I hope he's doing really well. I always love the Indiana Jones community. I hope they're doing really great.
Oh shoot!
They should be really excited with the new movie coming out.
I died, but I lost one life only.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, I think there's actually one of my next videos I want to do is to highlight all the stuff going on in the Indiana Jones community.
I mean, there should be a lot of attention given to the fans and stuff like that with the new movie coming out, but not only that, but just I mean, we're gonna have hopefully a good sequel to Last Crusade, because Crystal Skull wasn't it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
we're gonna have two, of course, because we're gonna have mine, and then we're gonna have Indy 5.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Man, I found like a little area in this room that I've never seen before.
So when you're doing 4.5, there's a lot of directors that kind of go like the darker route, where they view a film and they're kind of like, let's, if we kind of change it so that it's a lot darker, it'll make it a lot more impactful compared to like the silliness that was 4. But some directors, want to go in a different direction altogether, where they kind of like change it so it's more of an adventure route. Are you more of like the dark, or would you say that this new movie is going to be more like the adventure route?
Well, what do you mean by adventure route? Can you explain that one more time?
So, if you think about like the original like trilogy, the original trilogy was done by Spielberg, obviously, but it's more of like it's kind of like a long adventure, I guess, the way I would describe it. 2, I would say, was very dark in a lot of places. It was not really an adventure as much as it was kind of like it's kind of like a horror film in a way, just because like Mola Ram, when he would pull out his heart and stuff like that, and like the amount of dread that had like the audience with like Indy and stuff. So like 2 was a departure, but like 1 and 3 were more of an adventure route. Would you say that your remake of 4 is going to be more adventuresome, as opposed to like the silliness that was Crystal Skull?
Yeah, it's because Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was trying to go for that tone of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I am getting rid of. I wouldn't say that I'm doing the darker option, but probably what you said about the adventure is. Almost died. More or less what's going on, because the film originally was, going for a Raiders of the Lost Ark sort of vibe.
I think it really fell into kind of like the silly category, where it was just like...
Yeah, it was silly, that's for sure. And I'm getting rid of quite a few of those things. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I mean, a big part of like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was just kind of like being over the top, but trying to be like, I guess, like family friendly is the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of elements that kind of worked, like, oh, the fire ant scene when they were like chasing Indiana Jones and the Nazis and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was pretty gruesome. I mean, they were pretty
Yeah.
bad. But then you had kind of like the silliness with like the dialogue with the Nazis when they're talking. They're kind of cracking jokes about like Indiana Jones, like, oh, he's so hard to catch, stuff like that.
Man, I'm having a little bit of challenge here.
I see that.
Jeez. Oh man.
Oh, you got it, man.
Ooh, oh shit. Damn. Well, I did a pretty cool move, but it didn't quite work out. Oh,
Yeah,
I should have used my
right.
invulnerability. I forgot to do that.
Oh, you gonna save that for when you're trying to run away from the boss?
Yeah, that was what I was doing, because I was trying to run away from him, and at the same time there were like darts and other traps and stuff like that, and I had two like special things I could have used, and I forgot both of them.
Man, I can't believe you fell down.
I know, that's terrible.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Alright, let's see. Blessings are cheaper. I want to do this one just because it's fun. Your feet are turned to ice, but you slide faster. So I'm obviously not gonna have a lot of success with this one, but it's just fun. Yeah, it's been a big week for my channel, obviously. You guys know I became a partner again, so I'm, for the first time. So I am trying to put out lots and lots of content now, where I had been taking a big hiatus. I hadn't really taken a hiatus from the channel because I was working on my Indie 4.5 edit, and I still have a long ways to go on that. Man, what is that thing for?
Anyways, wait.
Oh shit.
Hello?
Hi.
Are you still trying to figure out how to get through the phantom force?
Oh shit. Oh, thank God. Oh man, I'm using the one where my feet are ice, so it's a fun challenge.
So you're slippery.
I'm slippery.
So the last time I played Fate of Atlantis, somebody asked me if we were going to play Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah,
I know that was
dude, play it. You should play it.
So that was the precursor to Fate of Atlantis, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I imagine the puzzles are 4 times harder.
Well, I don't know. I've never played it. Like I've read
You've
about.
Never played it?
I've never played. I've never played Last Crusade.
Really? That's
Yeah.
really strange because, so like the reason I played Fate of Atlantis before Last Crusade and everything, there used to be I had a disc that was called like Doomed on Arrival. It was like a collection of like 14 games, and it was like 7 of them were demos. And one of the demos was Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. So that was like how I got introduced to it. The other ones are like, I can't remember if it was like Marathon Man and like a couple other ones, but it was just like really strange because those games were like a collection of like first-person shooters and adventure games. Like one of them was called like Siberia. I don't know if you ever played that or not.
Sounds familiar.
Oh my god, Siberia is like a it was released on PlayStation as well, but it's like a point and click adventure, but it's like super hard. It's like almost impossible to do like the flying sections without a mouse and keyboard.
Wow. Have you heard of The Dig?
Oh yeah, I have The Dig. I was playing The Dig actually recently.
Oh really? Yeah. I heard that's a really good game.
Oh, it's a wonderful game. The only problem with the dig is that the dig was it got the Sierra treatment where you had to have like there was a instruction manual that had all the answers to some of the puzzles in it, and they were actually there to be like a copyright protection. So like there would be like a puzzle where you had to have like 5 gems. You wouldn't know the order the gems go in
Okay.
unless you had the instruction manual that told you how to do them.
Oh, jeez.
It was like their artificial form of like copyright protection.
Ay, ay, ay.
But yeah, like the dig is a lot of fun. I have it has the guy who played Lieutenant Dan. He does one of the voices of the
What?
main characters on it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's a Steven Spielberg like idea.
Yeah, it was like it's really cool. I mean, you go to destroy a comet, but in the comet there ends up being like a whole like civilization and everything like that.
Ooh.
I have the game. I was playing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, it would be cool if you would, whenever you have a chance, you could play that and maybe Last Crusade on my channel.
Oh sure,
like.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to play. Well, next time I have a chance, I'll play the dig and I'll play the Last Crusade because the Last Crusade will be very interesting. I've never played it at all, like not even as a kid. Like I said, my introduction to Fate of Atlantis was through a demo disc and then a copy I eventually bought, but as long as it's not going to be as long as it's not going to be what we had with Fate of Atlantis, whereas like the puzzles are like backwards and everything.
Yeah. Did you know there's a James Bond point-and-click adventure?
I would not believe it.
You would not.
It's only got to be first-person shooters.
Yeah. No, it was like in the late '80s, and it was.
Oh no.
Let me see. Like in one country, it was considered a James Bond game, and they said like they addressed the character as James Bond, and it said like you're helping out the CIA. But in another country, they couldn't call it James Bond. Like they only had the rights for James Bond in one country. So in the other country, they had to call him like James Glams or something weird. I don't know. Yeah.
James Clams.
It was something like that. It was something Glams.
James Clams.
James
That's
Glams.
nice.
I tried to play it one time, and I got stuck in like an airport terminal at the very beginning of the game, and I could not figure out what to do.
Nice. That's the best kind of 80s games where it's like a type adventure and you don't know what to do.
I mean, it was a point and click. It wasn't a typing.
Really?
Yeah, it was like like the Fate of Atlantis type of thing.
Well, I think the first game I'm going to play for your channel is going to be Full Throttle because that's a game that I know from like head to toe, and it's really easy to play, and it's a LucasArts game, so there's going to be some great Star Wars references in there.
Cool, that's a good idea.
So I'll play that. It's about 2 hours long.
So, is it about like motorcycles or something?
Oh yeah, it's about motorcycles. It's about being part of like a motorcycle gang, and you're basically trying to save your gang from forces that are beyond your control. It's pretty interesting, and like I said, I know it from like heart. I know it by heart by now. So
Oh, pretty cool.
I'm not gonna get Fate of Atlantis.
Nice. And you know your Fate of Atlantis gameplays get like a lot more views than my Infernal Machine gameplays, like by a lot.
Well, I think mainly because when we did it, I had you as like my backup commentary, and that was a big thing. So.
That's a good point.
And also, when we did the Fate of Atlantis promotion, like we had a lot of like advertisement for it and a lot of build up for it. I don't know if I got a lot of advertisement for your Infernal Machine gameplay.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So I think that if we were to do it again,
I'm still alive.
Do it again. Nice.
Barely. I'm not gonna last very long, but yeah, go ahead with what you're saying.
Well, also the Fate of Atlantis is a lot more, I guess, a lot more cherished among like the community and stuff like that. Infernal Machine doesn't really have the same kind of like, I guess, staying power as Fate of Atlantis.
Emperor's Tomb, not Infernal Machine.
Emperor's Tomb?
Yeah, I've been playing Emperor's Tomb.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Fate of Atlantis was like a really big part of like a lot of people's childhood and stuff like that. You know, like makes, because for some it was like their first Indiana Jones like adventure game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Possibly
I remember
their
seeing...
first Indiana Jones experience.
Oh my gosh, that'd be horrible. You're trying to tell them to do the point and click where they're trying to figure out how to get the stupid world stone from... Oh my gosh. But, what was his name? The freaking dude. He's like, oh, you have to... What did I show up for? What was it? What is my greatest fear? And how many fingers am I holding behind my back? Like, that is the
Oh my
most
god.
BS, like... That was the most BS freaking game ever. I mean, you had 3 questions that you could possibly answer, but then the final question was basically a 1 in 5 chance of succeeding.
This power slide is so much fun with the and the ice, but it's challenging.
Dangerous.
Yeah, it's
Like I
dangerous.
say, you're... It's a good thing you're good at Phantom Abyss, because I'm not very good at this game. Like, every time I play Phantom Abyss, I feel like I die as soon as like the boss comes out. What was the other game that we played from Devolver? Was that Broforce that we were playing?
Yeah, we played
at least
Broforce
tried
a
to
little
play.
bit, and I was doing terrible.
Yeah, it was... wasn't all that great. Say, for anyone who enjoys like games on the Indiana Jones Nerd channel, if you have any suggestions of anything that you would like us to play or anything that you would enjoy watching as a playthrough, just, you know, feel free to drop a message or even drop a community chat or anything like that, because we love playing adventure games, but any games that interest you as far as Indiana Jones, we'd love to take part in. So just reach out to us and let us know.
Have you did you ever play the Goonies 2 by chance?
The one on NES?
Yeah.
I've seen a playthrough of it, and I was really interested in playing it because it was kind of like, as opposed to most games, it was very adventuresome for an NES title. But I never played it.
I was doing an article on like Steven Spielberg related games, and that was one that came up.
Well, I mean, the Goonies 2 is really interesting because it was, I mean, it was its own title. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's
it wasn't
like the
based
only
off a
Goonies thing besides the movie story.
And it was meant to be a sequel to the Goonies. That was like really strange.
And they tried to make like actual sequel like movies for so long, it just never happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was really cool. Like the Goonies 2 NES title was really ambitious because it was like a point-and-click adventure on the NES, which is really hard to do.
Yeah, it was like a platformer and a point-and-click sort of at the same time. Yeah.
So, and I mean, they had to fit all that on like a 63 kilobyte cartridge, you know. So it was pretty interesting, and they had, I mean, you could do a lot in that game. Like there was a lot of little secrets and stuff like that you could unlock. But I thought it would be really cool if they did do a movie of it, because they had like a mermaid that they were seeking and stuff like that, and you had to rescue like the other Goonies who'd been captured and stuff. So
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they try to do like a modern day version of that.
So what would you say, besides like the ones that we've talked about, the Goonies and Indiana Jones, any other good Steven Spielberg related video games that you like?
Spielberg ones?
Yeah. Or if not,
I
you
mean,
could talk about Star Wars or something.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple games that I think they could redo for Spielberg that would be really. I mean, or a couple games they could like create that would be really interesting. I think a Jaws game would be really good.
Yeah.
Like an actual decent Jaws game where you're actually playing as like Brody and you're trying to stop like
Oh,
Jaws
when
and
you
stuff
play
like
as the
that.
humans. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be interested in playing as a shark because as soon as you see the shark, it's not really that interesting. But if they actually did like one where you don't see the shark, you're kind of like trying to save Amity, like
Like a
you're
point
trying
and
to save
click.
the. Yeah, I mean something where like an adventure game, something like that. That would be really interesting.
That's a pretty cool idea.
The one we got for the NES was awful. I mean, it was
Really?
just freaking terrible. Yeah. All you did was you just like shot, like you had a spear gun and you were just basically shooting like fish, and you would see Jaws, and Jaws was like really like he was really stupid looking, and then you couldn't kill him until you're like level 20 or something like that. It was like really bad.
They had a
Like
few
I once,
games like more recently that were like, I mean, like 15 years ago, that you were like the shark in like a 3D environment and eating people and stuff.
yeah, I don't want to play the shark though. That's the thing. I want to have the shark needs to be the element of terror. I don't like the game where you're playing as a villain and you're trying to like stalk or go after people because it's stupid. I mean, you see the villain, the only thing you're afraid of is the people. It's like I don't really care. If you want it to be a horror game, you need to have something where it's an unstoppable creature or unstoppable force that you don't see and that you run into and then you have to deal with.
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, Jaws, I mean, you could follow the movie to a T. There's like, it's not like the movie doesn't hold up because it's actually really good. And it's funny because like the shark's not actually named Jaws. It's just happened over time that people call him Jaws, but he's not actually named.
He's called Bruce.
Yeah, he's Bruce, but doesn't matter because he's just known as Jaws now.
Yeah.
No, so as far as like Spielberg movies and stuff like that, that'd be interesting to like redo or to remake and stuff. I mean, I'd obviously like a really good Jurassic Park film, or like a really good Jurassic Park game, where you.
Do you like Evolution?
No, I wasn't.
Like you're
really a
looking
big
for
fan
like
of
a
that.
story, like where you play as a single character.
Yeah, I mean, so they had. I don't know if you ever played the Jurassic Park games on like the SNES or like the Genesis.
Yeah, like when you can play as the Raptor or Alan Grant.
Yeah, I mean, I want something like that where you're exploring the park and you have to activate like very limited portions of like the fence to try to keep yourself alive and stuff like that. It's like oh, I don't have any ammo. I can't take out these dinosaurs, but I'm going to try to sneak around best I can. I can activate the limited amount of fences I have and stuff like that. Just like an
That would
adventure,
be awesome.
something where you're doing like a stealth kind of thing. You're just like oh shit, there's a raptor coming, but I have this portion of the fence I can activate the last possible second, and it's just enough power to turn the raptors off.
Cool. Yeah, like a puzzle sort of game. That's a great idea.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily a puzzle. It can be a first-person shooter, but just something
Like
where
sort of tactical, sort of.
Did you ever play Alien Isolation?
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, like Alien Isolation, but with Jurassic Park.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
I think would work really well, but I mean, they haven't really executed that or like done that as far as like Jurassic Park games.
Like some of the
Maybe
best
sometime.
Jurassic Park games have been the arcade games where you're basically just like shooting the dinosaurs, which is cool, but that's a very different type of thing.
On rails, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I enjoy those games. There's like the original like Jurassic Park one where you're like in the Jeep and you're trying to like get to the end of the park. I mean, it's just so fucking bonkers. And you have to like you're like basically driving as fast as you can, going through, and it's interesting, but I mean, it's an action section for Jurassic Park. It's not, you don't get a lot of the story or anything like that.
All right, so I found this idol that I'm gonna use. It's the one that looks like the Guardian, um, the Devouring Rage. He has a nice face. I'm
Alright, so you get,
getting
how
it.
many more whips do you have to unlock?
Well, I have like all the whips unlocked.
But
I
not
just
like,
I don't have them all blessed, and this one that I used didn't get blessed because I just like I was barely surviving, so I just decided just to go for the treasure in the first temple.
okay. Relic claimed.
Yeah, that's a cool one, isn't it? I think I have all those other ones. Here we go. Here's the ones that I have.
Now, if I had, if you had to design like a current generation like Indiana Jones, like how would you design it? Would it be like a first person, kind of like Fan of Abyss, or do you think you would do something different?
To me, the obvious thing is to do like a Jedi Fallen Order type of thing, where
Huh?
it's like you have a big area you can explore and different save points. Like you sit down and you have a campfire. I think Jedi Fallen Order is like probably the best idea that I have, at least for an Indiana Jones game at this
So,
point.
what would you think? Have you played Elden Ring?
I haven't played Elden Ring. I keep hearing good things. Have you played it?
I played a little bit of it. I can't install it on this computer because this computer is a little underpowered. But Elden Ring is like Dark Souls, but open world.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking something like, kind of like that, where it's like an open world Indiana Jones game where you're solving like tombs and stuff like that, or
That
different
would be
like,
awesome. Yeah.
and then maybe maybe there's some bosses. It's more emphasis on like trying to solve puzzles and stuff like
Okay.
that.
I have to
Or
check
like
out that game sometime, but I just don't really have time because I'm trying to do like my channel and all that. Well, maybe I
yeah,
could play it on my channel.
I think if you did an Elden Ring gameplay, you'd find a lot of people enjoy that for your
Mm-hmm.
channel, because there's a lot of Elden Ring is a lot of fun to watch. There's a lot of tactics involved, and it's so open. You can do kind of anything with it. But if you're going to do Elden Ring gameplay, I definitely recommend doing it with a controller because you're not going to do it with the mouse and keyboard, at least not easy.
Oh, I see. Man, they made this whip harder.
So
It's the one there's no guardians, but you can't have more than one health. Like you can't even upgrade your health.
oh goodness,
Yeah.
that's kind of like just hope,
There's no
hope
way
and a
I'm gonna.
prayer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna last long here. Yeah, sorry. I think you were saying something.
Oh no, in terms of like if you're playing Elden Ring stuff like that, it's something that's really, you have to be really good with your tactics and stuff like that.
With your
It's
what? Sorry.
your tactics.
Tactics.
Like you can't just like man fight a boss. You have to be able to like figure out the strategy behind each boss and like what they have to, like how many strikes they do before you can attack them,
Mm.
and like what like each phase of the boss you have to be able to counter. So
Are you good at that? Doing like those sort of boss fights?
I can, but I mean the main thing I have a problem with is that I have a lot of difficulty when I'm playing like a Dark Souls type game because they want you to roll a whole lot, and I'm very impatient, so I tend to attack a lot before I actually like before I'm supposed to, and then it kind of ruins the strategy. So And look at you go with your 1 HP whip.
Yeah.
Why won't you activate your windows? You
Oh, shoot.
cheapo.
Oh, yeah.
And you could also reject my willingness to watch because I can see you from your stream channel, so. Or you can leave it pending forever, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, for the next time I play Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, it'll probably be on your channel. I'm gonna set it up.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and I enjoy playing for your audience because you have a really good collection of fans that enjoy Indiana Jones. And
Yeah, they're cool.
I know
Everyone's really chill.
yeah, I know that it's not like always, especially when they're done filming and stuff like that, we can't get the best updates out. But for the Indiana Jones audience, ones who really want to know more about it, I appreciate everyone who tunes into our streams and things like that.
Definitely.
You know that we really appreciate all the support you guys give to our channel. We hope that you tune in more often to updates and things like that, especially as we get closer to the new movie coming out.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, because the movie got delayed, so it was supposed to come out this year, but instead it's next year. But we're getting a lot of like fan projects and stuff going on. So obviously like my edit, and I mentioned the Raiders of the Lost Ark game, and then there's like a fan comic coming too. I'm excited about that one because I love the Indiana Jones comics. Those are like some of my favorite Indiana Jones stories. And like we haven't had an Indiana Jones comic in like 13 years. I mean, we haven't had any Indiana Jones comic in like 13 years.
I say a lot of the comics were really. I understand they probably didn't sell well just because like a lot of the IPs that they were using at the time were like superhero ones. So.
And they had Star Wars.
Yeah, that
was
too.
Their big one, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the writing is really good for the comics too. So.
Man, yeah, like they really did a great job researching like some of the artifacts and things like that. It's a shame that they didn't continue with those.
And like, I know that you're telling me about the Treasure of the Peacock's Eye. That was the gem that was shown in Indiana Jones, the second movie.
Yeah, and it was the that wasn't a comic. That was the Young Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
I just re-uploaded that to my channel like last night.
Yeah, I saw that update. Yeah, that was really interesting because like they kind of show like the gem in the beginning and you don't have any insight or background into it, but if you see like the Treasure of the Peacock's Eye, you understand what the significance of that gem was.
Yeah, it's a great like retcon to tie those together.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more like, wow, this is a cool room right here. I love stuff like this. This is like Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine type room when you see it. Just like a big room, like with lots of like you gotta climb around, traps and stuff. Alright.
Yeah, I think that I mean there could be a lot more tie-ins with movies with Young Indiana Jones. Like if they could have done a lot more with it.
Yeah.
I still want to know what they were planning on writing for.
Ooh, I died.
the the adventure games. They said that Indiana Jones would be back probably as a younger Indiana Jones.
For Dark Horse Comics, are you talking about?
Well, like they mentioned at the end of Fate of Atlantis when they were planning on releasing. I want to know what they would have written for it.
Because yeah, I mean, all we know was like pretty much the titles. It was the Spear of Destiny and Iron Phoenix, but they didn't. I don't know if they really revealed what time frame they were gonna be. I never heard that they were making it about a younger Indy, but that's a cool idea.
Well, that was, I mean, that was just the end of Fate of Atlantis, where it said that Indiana Jones is back, perhaps as a younger iteration.
Oh, okay. At the end of like the credits there.
Yeah,
The game. Oh, cool.
that's what. I mean, if we ever had a chance to interview Hal Barwood, I'd really be interested to hear what his ideas were for that game and how it would have been, like what it would have been about.
Yeah. He's like a legend of like he worked on like all the Indiana Jones games from Last Crusade to even Emperor's Tomb. He worked on.
Yeah. I think during the 90s would have been a fun time to like write adventure games and stuff like that because there's a
Hmm.
lot of adventure games I have in my library from like the 90s era that I really enjoyed and I can't really say they were replicated well in like the 2000s stuff like that.
Hmm. What do you think about like the Telltale Games style of like a graphic adventure?
I think Telltale was onto something. The only problem I ever had with Telltale was that it never paid out as far as like when you chose like different routes and stuff like that
Oh,
because it
so
was
true.
written in such a
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, oh, this character will remember your choices and stuff like that. Like, well, that character never came back because
Yeah, like I remember
because it
like
was
there
all.
was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like I just like the character would be like, oh, he'll remember the choices you made, and then like never came up ever again because it was all just a tree. Like when they wrote the game, they wrote it as like a choice dialogue tree, and they never actually like
Oh,
paid out on that choice dialogue tree. Like when I make a wrong choice or something like that, or even though I make a choice that's like, at the beginning of the game, I want it to play out later in the game.
mm-hmm. I
For
remember in
example,
the
like in
Walking
Dragon
Dead.
Age, when you make a choice.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. In Walking Dead, like in the first episode, I think like there's two characters, and the zombies are coming, and you have to choose which one to save. But then like they both die at the same point in the game later. Like no matter who you save, they both
Yeah.
have like the same. Yeah.
It's not like something where you choose a character, they live, and that character ends up changing like the ending, or changing
Yeah.
something that you do in the ending.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like for example, like in Dragon Age, like you could like if you try to save Terran Logain, one of your characters will leave your party, no matter what you do. Like you can't have both characters. You have to choose one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to like. You're not given a choice whether you can like save both. It's just one or the other entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like other games too that have that kind of effect where it's like you didn't choose. Like I chose. Did you ever play Lisa?
No. I've never heard that.
It was. You never heard of Lisa?
No.
Yeah, I can find it. Lisa the Painful.
Mm-mm.
So in Lisa the Painful, you're trying to. You're in a future where there's nothing but male. Like there's nothing but men left, but you end up finding a child who's a female, and your goal is to like basically protect the child. And you have a lot of choices that you have to make in the game where you can sacrifice like part of yourself or sacrifice other party members and stuff like that. And if you choose to sacrifice like part of yourself, that's going to impact yourself later in the game. Like you're not going to be able to save Lisa later. But if you sacrifice certain party members, you lose access to dialogue and like other routes that you can take with them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so cool to have like multi stuff like that.
Yeah, that's kind of like I like those kind of games where it's like, oh, you don't really have. I mean, you can't make the perfect choice. You don't have that choice available.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where like Telltale kind of fell apart, was that none of your choices were really impactful. Never, like, they're going to tell you the same story no matter what you do, but you have these little tiny incidental choices that don't change anything with the game. I mean, I know Telltale went out and their writers had a lot of issues and stuff like that, but I understood what they were going for. They just couldn't execute it properly.
Well, my little cheat for getting extra help doesn't seem to be working.
Well, I think I'm gonna log off here in just a little bit, but let's say I will set up a time. I'll make an announcement on your channel when I do Indiana Jones. The next one I have it installed, The Last Crusade. I just haven't played it yet. I really hope it's not going to be as detrimental as Fate of Atlantis.
Oh, so are you starting with The Last Crusade, or you're starting with Full Throttle?
I think I'll do Full Throttle first because, like I said, it's only a 2-hour game, and that's something that I can complete in one sitting. I know, like, all the odds and ends.
Oh, it's only 2 hours, huh?
Yeah, and I was really surprised because, like, when I played as a kid, I remember it being, like, really long, but I guess it's kind of, like, relative to,
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, I said, I had fun watching you play Phantom Abyss. I had fun. I really hope that more people tune in and get ready for the next Indiana Jones movie. And once we get closer to the date, that we have a couple more live streams, maybe with a group of Indiana Jones nerds like yourself. Much like the one we had before, we had the fans kind of like tune in and do a little interview.
I am coming to Ohio, but I'm only going to be in town for a few days in like late June, early January.
Let me guess, there's going to be a U.S. men's national team game going on then?
No, it's the my mom like rented a cabin, like not a cabin, but like a lake house sort of. Not exactly a lake house, but like a house sort of in this like lake community up north, like by Cedar Point. So
okay.
I'm mostly going for that, but I'm gonna have a few days that I'll be in town, so hopefully we can get together and do something.
Cool. Yeah, sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. I'm gonna let you go. Like I said, everyone, make sure you tune in to Indiana Jones Nerd for his future streams, and I hope that everyone has a good night.
All right. Good night, buddy. You take care.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
And prepare for a future announcement of the next Indiana Jones installment.
Yes, right. All right. Have a good night, my friend.
Good night.
So I'm just gonna go a few more minutes here and just see how far this run through takes me. Hope you're all doing well. I can't see if anyone's even like talking to me or anything here. I might check the chat like at the end of the stream, just see what's up. I love the updates they've made to this. Every time they update it, they do a lot of fun stuff. Well, I'll try warp 2 more times. For some reason they've made it a little harder. There we go. Ow. Well, one hit and I'm dead. Oh, jeez. Need to pay attention what I'm doing. Oh, come on. Hey, I made it. I don't have enough. I'm just gonna go for the grabbing the treasure here. Cause I got some other work. What did I do? Let's see. Current viewers. Can't tell if anyone's watching right now or not. If you are there, hello. Good, I can grab some change here. See if I can get a heal or something. There we go. That's how you gotta do it. Do it from way up high and kind of have a little rotation. Doesn't always work. I'm just gonna try one more. Then we will press on. Nice. Alright, let's do it. No excuse. Oh, and I am I'm making a little edit to my Curse of the Jackal re-edit So I'm gonna be probably publishing that, I guess, tomorrow morning in my new edit. So you know, if you remember the film opened with my version of the film opened with Indy in Peru, and he's telling Mutt about Pancho Villa, but we don't get the Indy in Mexico stuff until, you know, the second half of Curse of the Jackal. So what I did is I moved the you know, when Indy talks about Pancho Villa, it flashes back to Mexico, and then partway through the Mexico segment, Indy finds the picture of Demetrius, and that goes into a flashback of Egypt, and then it flashes back after the Egypt part's done. So I'll put that out, and curious to see how you guys like it. So hopefully you'll let me know your thoughts. Haven't had a Guardian here yet. Someone was here though. Aha! There he is. Ooh, yeah! Oh. So the thing's already open. All too easy. So let's see if I have a little something I could do here. Well, I'm going for that. Oh. Oh shit. Well, that wasn't bad at all. So we have two artifacts that we got tonight, but only level 1, of course. Yeah, I love this game, but can never get much success unless I'm using this whip here, of course. Oh! That's a great. Ah. Duplicate. Let's see if there's anything. I don't have this one. I'm grabbing this one then. Well, there we go. There's a relic for my treasure room. Very nice. Alrighty, so here's what I have. Here's a level 2 one. That's a pretty cool one. Let's see, these are all the ones that I have here. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? And here are my level 3s. Guess I got 2 of them. Oh, this is probably my favorite one. Love it. And I guess one day when they release more levels, they'll let us in here. But looks like the game's still just 3 temples long only. So that's it. That's the end of my live stream for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I wish you all a fortuitous and glorious day. Bye-bye now.